Kaizer Chiefs return to the league matches again. And this means that different approach because we're playing different types of opponents. So how will they line up? Well, as it happens, that's exactly what we're talking about in this video. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. So do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're a Kaizer Chiefs fan or you just like football and me. So, who starting in goal? Brendan Peterson. But everyone knows this and we're not going to dwell much. Solomons, I know that I said that he's likely going to get rotated with Monyane. But I don't think they will rotate him because of the fact that past 2 games, he scores 2 goals. And the fact that in the previous game, they actually gave him the full 90 minutes. So that means I don't know whether he's performing much better than Monyane in training, or is it because of the fact that in the previous game, they played him because, you know, he was coming off that confidence booster of scoring a goal in the previous match. But also, if you think about it, those games or Solomons as a player is also very good with regards to maybe taking people on. He can do that. While Monyane is very good in moving into the right space and driving with the ball forward. But I'm yet to see him dribble people. So maybe that's the advantage that is keeping Solomons in the team more than Umonyane. And left back is going to be Upasekamako. So Bradley Cross's injury seems to be somewhat, serious. Not like serious, but the coach said that they are working closely with him, whatever that means, so that they can see what his improvement. So, it's okay. There's Cross. There's Marco. I really hope we will see Shinga on the bench and he can be given some minutes, because come on, guys. The guy was signed he was like one of the first few signings of Kaizer Chiefs, Ushinga. And yet, here we are, he still hasn't played. Even if he was in the first few signings of the Chiefs, the fact that Shinga has not played all along and we've heard he's got injuries, it's more Chislet that we've heard that he's been getting injuries non-stop, even though he hasn't even kicked the ball once. But with Ushinga, we haven't heard anyone say he's had injuries. It was just once. The rest of the times, they were just benching him and not even putting him on the bench, actually. I'm rambling. So I'm just going to move on and talk about Miguel and Quinika as a centre-back pairing. And I know this is one place that people get pissed off about when it comes to Miguel and comparing him with how he cost us. And I was reading this very interesting and kind of long tweet by El Capitano. He was explaining something that I've been saying about Miguel, that for example, the game that we played on Saturday, he cleared 2 goals off the line. He did cost us the first goal. But one thing that was pointed out in the tweet that I was reading, which I had checked on the stats, by the way, on SofaScore afterwards, is the fact that he wins a lot of aerial duels. He's very physical. He's a bully as a defender. It's just that his cons are the fact that he then gives away free kicks, or maybe not free kicks, but gets yellow cards. And then people see that as problematic. And because of that, they want him out of the starting 11. But if you actually go to a website like SofaScore, I'm just giving you this as a challenge, because our emotions, too, sometimes they make us decide certain things. But if you look at stats which are neutral and they are not depending on how you view the game, they are based on facts. Compare him with every other defender of Kaizer Chiefs and see where his stats put him, and see whether that player deserves to be in the starting 11 or not. And then you'll come back to the comments afterwards and say, Pelo, you are talking nonsense. The stats are saying something different. And I know someone is ready to say, Jose Mourinho said, people who don't understand football use stats. Yeah, of course we're going to use stats. Like, scoring goals is not a stat. So if I say a striker is good because he scored 20 goals, you're going to say no, because he can't trap, he's a bad striker because he's not passing the eye test. Sometimes, like Silva, for example, a lot of people have said Silva is a cow, right? They've outright said Silva is a cow But if you look at his numbers in terms of goals, it tells a different story. So what should we believe with regards to Silva? Should we focus more on the eye test, or should we focus more on what he actually gives us when it comes to being objective and not being subjective to the fact that this is how we see the games, even though facts are saying something different? I rambled, but we move to midfield pairing. And that is Umthetwa no Mabue. And I will tell you something. If this was my lineup, I'm not starting Umthetwa. Right? Umthetwa has been very good for us, but in this game, I wasn't going to start Umthetwa. Not because he's horrible. I would just play Mabue and Ngobo and see what that combination can give us. Because Mabue played a very good game when we last played, and he actually did more defensive work than Umthetwa even in that game. So we see that he can cover a lot of ground, so he can compensate for the absence of Umthetwa. But now if you have Ngobo and Mabue combining together, then let's see what they give us. Not Uguti we are now saying, oh, Umthetwa will never play. But let's just test this combination and see what it gives us. Because I think that Ngobo has given Chiefs a lot, but he keeps on being dropped for one reason or the other. But let's just give him a run with Mabu and see what they're going to give us. That's just me. You guys will let me know what you think about that on the comment section. And this is also time for me to remind you to subscribe. And the next person, the 10, is going to be Tutuzi Shabalala. There is a world, by the way, whereby Ngobo plays as a 10, or they play as 8, Beno, Mabue, and then Ox plays as a 6. Because Tutuzi in the past few games, or the past 2 games specifically, is not performed. But I've said it already that one of the biggest problems about the previous 2 games is that they were physically demanding, and Umtutuzi was struggling to cope in those games, which is problematic. So that is why I think there is that possibility of, since Umthetwa is such an integral part of the team, they might keep him in the team and drop Umtutuzi. Anything's possible. Which one do you think is better? Play Ngobo and Mabue, or drop Umtutuzi? You'll also let me know about that on the comment section. Right wing, Fundo Vilakazi. I mean, here now we're no longer talking about, oh, they are going to be physically stronger than us, they are going to bully us. No. This time around, we are a team who are playing in the PSL, and Umfundo has played in these games, and he will know how to deal with it. Left wing, Asanele Velepai. Like we've already covered, Upule Modi is not he shouldn't come back to this game, because his main thing that he was brought on in the big games, and he's still going to play big games, by the way, is the fact that he's good helping us defensively. But this is not one of those games where we're going to and thinking, oh, we must also be solid defensively. But we are thinking we must attack them, or we must hit them hard. So Velepai and Vilakazi make a lot of sense. Which brings us to the last but not least, Ighodaro as a striker. And I know some people want Silva to start as a striker. I cannot argue with that. But I would like to defend Ighodaro. To those who are already doubting him, I want to defend Ighodaro, because for the goals that he has not scored, it's not necessarily his fault. I will keep on saying this. If you want Ighodaro to drop and help the team play, then don't expect a lot of goals from him. But if you want to keep Ighodaro as a box striker, then expect goals from him. But currently, he's not being played like someone that we are expecting goals from. On the other hand, you see that when Silva comes on, his instruction is slightly different. He stays closer to the box, and voila, he's going to score goals. So I'm not of the idea that Ighodaro should be dropped because he's bad and all of that, because he's not. He needs an instruction and expectations that match the instructions that he's given. But what do you think is going to happen? Are we beating Chippa? By how much? Do let me know on the comment section below. And I will be doing a watch along from 6:30 until the game ends, because I'm not going to the stadium. In fact, I'm now going to be doing watch alongs for matches. So make sure every match day, an hour before the game starts, check it out, because, you know, watching the game. Thank you so much for watching, and watch this video where I analyze how Chiefs played their last game against Zamalek. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals aliphela umoya.